C'est un très grand plaisir pour moi d'être ici aujourd'hui en tant que vice-première ministre et ministre des Finances pour vous souhaiter la bienvenue et pour parler du travail que nous avons accompli au ministère des Finances pour appuyer la lutte contre les changements climatiques et pour aider le Canada à affronter ce moment tellement important. Au cours de la dernière année, nous avons mis en œuvre des mesures sans précédent pour bâtir notre économie propre et la finance durable constitue un élément important de notre plan économique. Now, as usual, Ryan has anticipated where I want to go because I am going to start, as he foreshadowed, by talking about the Canada Growth Fund. We launched it this summer. The Canada Growth Fund is led by some of Canada's top investors, and we created it to invest in Canadian businesses, to help them scale and to help them crowd in Canada's share of the trillions of dollars in private capital that are waiting to be invested in the global clean economy. This is a really, really innovative way to make the people's money work harder and to fill some gaps that private capital alone just has not been filling in financing the green transition in Canada. It's a big deal. And that's why last week I was incredibly proud, incredibly excited to announce the very first investment by the Canada Growth Fund. It is in action. And that was an investment in a Calgary-based company called Ever Technologies. Ever specializes in geothermal energy, and the $90 million investment by the Canada Growth Fund is going to help turbocharge Ever's growth and help Ever expand around the world. I was there at that investment last week, and at the announcement, the leaders of Ever said very clearly, very explicitly, that absent the investment from the Canada Growth Fund, they had a very appealing offer on the table from an international company to be bought out, and that would have provided them all the capital they needed to do the things they wanted to do. But what it would have meant was Ever would cease to be a Canadian company, and their headquarters would no longer be in Canada, just because they were missing that little slice of capital. The Canada Growth Fund, and that means everybody here, that's Canada's money. The Canada Growth Fund has provided that capital, and as a result, Ever is going to continue to grow, based here in Canada, and from that Canadian base, Ever is going to continue to take its world-leading technology across Canada and around the world. They're doing a very big project in Germany, even as we speak. So that is what success looks like for climate action and for the Canadian economy. The Growth Fund is a pillar of our economic plan, and this is a plan that is helping to develop a sustainable finance market in Canada that will create jobs, boost investor confidence, drive economic growth, all while it is fighting climate change. Second thing I want to talk about, as I'm sure everybody here knows, last year we issued Canada's first green bond in March of last year. This inaugural 7.5-year, $5 billion green bond was backed by Canada's sovereign AAA credit rating, and we saw a final order book of more than $11 billion. What was also really significant is 45% of the investors in our green bond were international. Now, what does that tell us? Demand for Canadian bonds is high, with non-resident ownership of Canadian debt climbing from 13% in 2008 to about 27% in June of last year. That is an international vote of confidence in our economy. It is an international vote of confidence in our economic plan and in our green plan. The green bond issuance was proof that there is strong global demand for clean investments here in Canada. And that is a good thing because, as we heard from Stephen and from Ryan, we need capital. We need capital to drive economic growth and to drive the green transition. And that bond issuance was proof that Canada is and will continue to be a global leader in sustainable finance. Je tiens également à féliciter Kathy Bardswick et le Conseil d'action en matière de finances durables pour l'excellent travail qu'ils accomplissent depuis la création du CAFD en 2021. Cela comprend le travail très important que vous avez effectué sur les divulgations obligatoires de l'information relative au changement climatique et sur une feuille de route vers une taxonomie. Et en faisant fond sur le travail que vous avez accompli, nous avons hâte de continuer à faire des démarches spécifiques plus tard ce mois-ci. Before I close, I want to make a final point, and it's actually where Ryan concluded. This is a room full of people who have been working for years, for decades, maybe your entire professional lifetimes, on issues related to climate change. Some of you probably think of yourselves as activists, even if you sit around a cabinet table today. What is really exciting to me today, as the Deputy Prime Minister, as the Minister of Finance, and as someone who also believes we have a moral obligation to act on climate change. And this is something that I hope is also exciting to all of you. And that is that today, for Canada and the world, climate action is not just about climate change. Today, having a climate plan is synonymous with having an economic plan. It is synonymous with having a jobs plan. Climate action is about saving the planet, of course, and I know that that is what motivated many, many people at the beginning of your activism, and surely what motivates us still today. Today is a moment where climate action is also about showing people, showing Canadians, that we also have a plan for their future, a plan for them and for their children. That is exactly what Ryan highlighted at the conclusion of his opening remarks, and I think that is today truly central to the work that we have to do together. We have reached a tipping point where climate policy truly is economic policy. You could even say that the environment and the economy go hand in hand. And I wish Catherine were here. Thanks to the work and the commitment that you have shown so many people for years, for decades, over your lifetime, we can now say that. We are now seeing that not just as rhetoric, we're seeing that in action. Alors, je vous remercie pour votre travail acharné et j'ai hâte, notre gouvernement a hâte, de continuer à travailler avec vous pour bâtir une économie propre qui crée d'excellentes carrières pour les Canadiens et les Canadiens d'une nation à l'autre. Merci beaucoup et encore une fois, félicitations Ryan pour ton travail.